always asks me, how do you get into this industry? And I think that it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different story. For me, it was honestly a matter of me just saying, I want to do this. And I know that sounds strange, but for a few years, I didn't consider it a possibility. It seemed so far away, and for people who knew people whose parents were really famous and wealthy, and I just didn't consider that that was a job, songwriting for a living. And so for a few years, I actually worked at Full Sail as an admissions rep. And I put my keyboard in the closet, and and I just do it for fun once in a while. And I think that my start of getting into the business was when I took that keyboard out of the closet and actually started writing songs seriously. And that came through people at Full Sail. People at Full Sail were coming into my office going, I heard you write songs. Could you help me write something for church? Or could you help me write something? Or could you help me finish a song that I started? And I'd say, yeah, sure, that would be easy. And so I just started writing for people around me. And one of those guys actually entered one of the songs into a songwriting competition. And he called me one day and said, just so you know, I entered your song into a competition as an artist, and I didn't get picked as an artist, but you're in the finals for the song. And you need to go to Lakeland, Florida this weekend and do a whole seminar and perform the song. And I was like, what? So I wasn't even trying really, but gosh, I was thrilled. And that changed my life, that whole event. I went to this songwriting competition. It was put on by people in Nashville. Industry people, and once they heard one of my songs in a demo critique session, Dan Keene, a man from ASCAP, took me to lunch and said, what are you doing in Orlando? You could be in Nashville doing this for a living. And I said, really? Like when? Like next week? And he seriously said, you come here and I'll help you. And 2 weeks later, I was in Nashville having meetings with all the publishers in town, and every one of them said, if you just move here, just put yourself here, we'll help you. Honestly, looking back, I've been songwriting now for close to 20 years. And looking back, I would say I think that my biggest obstacle was really believing in myself and trusting that the industry would support me and my gift. When I first moved to Nashville and I got a publishing deal, and for 5 years, I wrote songs every single day, sometimes twice a day. I'd have 2 appointments a day with different co-writers. And I worked incessantly. I would work the weekends. I just wouldn't stop. But I went 5 years without getting even a hold or a cut or a song recorded with an artist. And I'm thinking, why am I not getting chosen? Why are my songs not there? But the truth is that I was writing to please them. I was writing what I thought they wanted. And I was completely leaving my own self out of the process in terms of trusting myself of what I loved and what I would sing and what I would want to say would actually matter. I was always in the mindset of what would Faith Hill want to say and what would Byron Gallimore want to cut. And people would say, wow, you have the best melodies. You just have great melodies. But my lyric just never matched it. But it's because I would seriously leave myself out of the process, and I would go to a co-writer every day and say, here's a melody, here's the music, you write the lyric. I don't do lyric. And I just didn't trust myself. So I think those were the obstacles that I was facing, was my own belief system. Once I started writing lyrics, by the way, the first song I actually contributed a majority of the lyric to is my very first song that I ever got cut. I was like, whoa, what changed all of a sudden? Well, what changed is that I started investing myself in the entire process. I think any advice that I would have for up-and-coming songwriters, I could talk for days and teach you everything I wish I would have known when I started. I would say my biggest advice is to give yourself a shot. I think so many people I meet so many people that are so gifted and talented, but they might not live in Nashville or they may not live in LA, and they just feel so far away from it. And so they get real jobs and they have families, and and they build their lives, which are beautiful, but they don't consider themselves a songwriter. They don't consider themselves an artist, even though they completely have this gift to be so. They already have the belief system that it's not possible, or that you can't make money, or that it's a really hard business and you have to know somebody, and all those things that I heard starting out weren't true.